Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. And also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout, or use the link down below. It applies it automatically and it helps support the channel. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my stepdaughter's dress? I am married to a man who has a daughter, Ella 10F, from a previous marriage. Ella's mom and I don't see eye to eye, and if I'm honest, Ella and I just don't get along very well either. She is a bit spoiled and tends to get her way with her dad, which often causes tension between us. Recently, Ella wore a dress that her mom had bought her. It was an expensive designer dress, and she wanted to wear it to a family gathering at my husband's parents' house. I didn't think it was appropriate for the event. It was a bit too mature in my opinion, and I felt it would attract unnecessary attention. I told her to change, but she refused, saying that her mom told her it was a special dress. When I insisted, she threw a tantrum, making us late, and we ultimately left with her in the dress. A few days later, I was cleaning up around the house and saw the dress lying in Ella's room. Frustrated by the fuss that it had caused and not wanting another incident, I threw it out. I didn't think it was right for her to wear it to future events if it was going to create such a fuss, and I didn't see any reason for it to stay. Later on, Ella went looking for her dress. I was in the kitchen when I heard her yelling from her room, asking where it was. Her voice grew more frantic as she rummaged through her wardrobe and even her drawers. My husband went up to see what was going on, while I stayed back, listening as she told him she couldn't find her special dress. When he asked if I had seen it, I admitted that I had thrown it out, keeping my tone calm. Ella's reaction was instant. She burst into tears and stormed out of the room, sobbing that I hated her and that I had no right to get rid of something so important to her. My husband looked visibly uncomfortable, trying to comfort her, but she refused to let him near. She called her mom in tears, explaining what had happened. That call set off a new round of drama. Ella's mom was furious and demanded to speak to me, accusing me of overstepping boundaries and trying to interfere with her relationship with Ella by getting rid of the dress. Ella hasn't spoken to me since, and my husband and I had a tense conversation later, where he expressed how disappointed he was with how I handled the situation. Now I feel like a stranger in my own home. Now I'm left wondering if I crossed a line. I thought I was helping avoiding future issues, but I can see how it might come as overstepping of boundaries. Am I the a-hole? No shit you are. The only person that had a problem with that dress in this story was you. You had the problem with it, and for some reason, you thought that your decision was law, so, yes, let's just get rid of something that wasn't even your property to begin with. And you were doing it to avoid future instances? Incidences of what? Of you being upset because your daughter has a dress that you don't like from somebody that you don't exactly get along with the most well? Oh, boo frickin' who. Really, I thought of it looking it over again. Nobody in this story had a problem with the dress except you. And it really is bad that there are people out there dumb enough to type all of that stuff wondering, am I actually the a-hole in the scenario, and not being certain of whether or not, if the same thing was done to them, yeah, no, you'd be a little upset too, huh? Well, I can tell you this very much so, whatever party comes next that your daughter happens to wear a dress that her own mother gets her, I'm fairly certain you're not going to be invited to that. I, 28F, made a joke with my husband, 29M, and it's costing me my marriage with a man I truly love. I need help fixing it. Created the account a couple of minutes ago to get advice. A joke I made is spiraling out of control, and I'm losing a man I truly love over it. My husband and I have been married for 4 years now. I truly do love him with everything I have. I can't see a life without him. I took some stupid advice from some of my girlfriends regarding a joke, and they have done with their husbands or boyfriends. The joke is basically telling your partner you want to break up or that you want a divorce. I never wanted to do it and thought it was cruel to do, especially to someone you love, but I was convinced after they kept pestering me about it, as I was the only one that haven't done it yet out of the 5 of us. The further convinced me about it when they told me the reactions their partners had afterwards. Stupidly, I did it last week, and my husband's reaction wasn't what I thought it would be. I honestly thought that he would try and talk to me or beg me to make suggestions like my friend's partner have done, but he didn't. We had dinner, and I was watching a movie when I told him I'm not happy anymore, and I think we should get a divorce. He looked at me for a couple of seconds, and I swear I looked like something broke in his eyes. He got up, walked into our bedroom, and within 10 minutes came out with a bag and walked out of the house without saying a word to me. I tried to stop him, basically after seeing him with his bag packed, and told him that it was a joke and I didn't mean it, but he basically just brushed me off and walked out. I tried to get a hold of him, messages, calls, emails, video chats, but he isn't answering me at all. I talked to his friends, but none of them want to tell me where he is, when, and if they answered me. I went to his work, but they refused me entry into the building. I have tried his parents, but they don't want to get involved as well. With his siblings, the only messages I got back was from his sister telling me, I joke or not, that I screwed up. I have sent many messages about it being a joke, and even sent screenshots of my conversations with my girlfriends about the joke as proof that it was a joke. And that I'm not backtracking all of a sudden, but nothing. My friends didn't have any real advice and told me just to give him time and that he will get over it. Everything came down on me yesterday when I was served with actual divorce papers. It felt like someone slapped me in the face and hit me and continued to hit me. I was and still am in so much pain. I frantically tried to get a hold of them, but all I got back was that he has nothing to say and that I should talk to his lawyer. How can I get the man I love back? I don't want to lose him. I made a stupid joke, I know, and now it's breaking my world apart. Edit already had questions in my DMs about this. We have had no issue that I know of. We were laughing the whole time throughout the day, had fun, and everything. No fight or distance recently between us. Nothing like that at all. Everything was basically perfect. Yes, because telling your partner that you suddenly want a divorce is totally the natural thing to do, and hee hee ha ha funny joke, go happy happy. And this reaction from your husband, there's only 2 instances that could have caused it. First one being that you're lying and you've done shit like this before. The secondly is that in a past relationship, somebody has done shit like this before. Either way, dude's not having it, so, have fun suffering the consequences of your own actions. Maybe next time, don't make a joke at your partner's expense, regardless of what your friends say. Have a little bit of the good old-fashioned common sense and think for yourself for once. I think I broke my wife. Yeah, that's a great way to start off a story. Not here, because apparently this is the place to come when you need unsolicited advice from internet strangers. I, 28M, have been married to my wife, 30F, for a decade at this point. For the story's sake, let's just call my wife Mary, fake names of course. She is the light of my life. Everything she does it with such a sweet and giving heart. I really do wonder sometimes how I got so lucky when I look at her. Things have not been so great through the past year. It just seems like the 2 of us cannot catch a break. Mary had started to pull away little by little, becoming more and more distant with me when she started a new job last year. I knew she was stressed, constantly on edge about deadlines, projects, and trying to juggle our household. So I left well enough alone and let her deal with what she needed to deal with. As time progressed, though, and she followed into her new year with this job, her mood started to deteriorate. She became more irritable, short, and to the point when we talked. I asked her about her day, and she would look at me as if I dropped her bag on the counter and just say it was work, and walk to the bathroom. I probably should have taken that as a red flag that her mental health was awful. But I didn't, and as I usually did, I left it alone. Around 4 months into the year, Mary had all but pulled away from me altogether. We were basically just roommates who lived and co-parented together. She would make plans with our daughter without me, or ask if I wanted to come in last minute. I could tell that she was only asking because our daughter had asked if I was coming. She didn't really want me there. These trips, road trips, or just fun excursions would usually end with us arguing, though, or her getting mad. In May, she informed me that she was taking a girls' trip with a coworker in August. This was something completely unheard of with her. She never made plans for just herself, and honestly, it pissed me off. To think that she was going out of the country for the weekend was enough to set me off, and ignore her the week leading up to her leaving. That weekend, I was left with the dogs, and our daughter to take care of alone. When she came back, I was angry to say the least, but I think this is where I truly started this downhill chaos. She walked in with bags and bags of stuff, a huge smile on her face, and said, "I brought gifts." I let our daughter get her things. Mary brought back and spent time with her before she ran off to her room to play. Mary pushed a bag across to me. She smiled and told me that she didn't forget me and how badly she needed to get away for the weekend. I snapped. I threw the bag in the trash with everything in it. This is where I said something I know I'll never be able to take back. You probably did nothing but cheat, and I don't want what a cheater buys me. Even as angry as I was, I watched the light in my wife's eyes die. There wasn't any anger, any sadness, any happiness. She just stood there, staring at me with this blank expression. We didn't speak for a few weeks after that, but I could tell what I said had really affected her in a bad way. She wasn't eating, her hygiene was slipping, and she wasn't keeping up with the house anymore. That's when she walked in September with her head hung, and told me that she had lost her job. Apparently her mental health had taken such a downturn, her performance at work had fallen, and they found a replacement for her position. I did what I could to help her get through it, and as selfish as it is, I was relieved. I thought I would get my wife back, and for about a month and a half, I did. She was slowly coming back, smiling, laughing, talking with me. It was like the woman I had fallen in love with was back. That was until Monday evening. She came into the living room and sat down across from me. She looked angry, sad, a mix of just chaos. I was gaming and on my mic at the time, so I just looked at her, waiting for her to say something. So this is where I know I screwed up. Mary's birthday was about 3 weeks ago. We had discussed some things to do, and she spent the days with me either at the spa or go to eat and see a movie, while the nanny watched our daughter. Easy enough, right? Well, not for me. I didn't plan anything, and the morning of her birthday, she knew. Mary looked at me after we got home from dropping our daughter off at school, and I asked her what she wanted to do. Her face immediately fell, and she said nothing. I watched as she walked back into our bedroom, closed the door, and she slept the entire day. She didn't even want to spend the rest of the day with our daughter once she was home from school. Going back to Monday, she brought it up, asking why we were even married anymore if all I was going to do was gaslight her into thinking I cared. That I toyed with her, thinking we could actually salvage the relationship, that I had done nothing but shatter her heart again and again. This pissed me off, admittedly. I know I probably had a nasty look on my face when I said this, but I was so angry I told her, "You don't even know the meaning of the word. You're too stupid to know the meaning of that word. So just keep your mouth shut if you are going to be nothing but ignorant." She stood up and slapped me. I didn't do anything but watch in shock as she ran out of the room crying after that. Since then, all she does is cry, and I'm at a loss on how to fix this, if it can even be fixed. I'm sitting by myself in the damn living room, thinking of everything throughout the years. As she's asleep in our daughter's room with her, the only thing she said to me since was, "You accused me of cheating because I needed a breath from stress and no help here at home for the weekend. Do you know how many horror stories I've read about husbands leaving their wives for women they came with, and you game all of the time? I don't know, maybe I am jealous, maybe I am wrong, maybe she deserves better, maybe I have neglected her for too long at this point. I just need a place to spew all of this as my marriage crumbles around me. Some advice would be nice, I guess, as an updated edit, since I don't really know how to go about it on here. So, some context here, so I don't seem like a completely emotionally absent husband and father. I work in chemical engineering, which is a very demanding job. My normal schedule can swing at any given moment, and normally I work anywhere between 60 to 80 hours a week. My wife works in finance, so her job is more set to a schedule of a 9 to 5 when she works. So she took on the majority of the household duties and cared for our child when we didn't need the nanny. And it was just something we agreed to when we first got married, since she would have a more normal job in terms of schedule than I. Yes, emotionally, I am as ignorant as they come. I was raised in a broken home with very little affections. My mother had to work constantly to keep a roof over mine and my siblings' heads. And so it focused on your education, not your social life, and that was what I did. Financially, I am secure because of that, and I am grateful for that. I don't have to worry, my family doesn't have to worry, and we have everything we need. I will never say I regret my education, but I will say that I hate that it is costing me like it is now. I guess the best way of putting it is I'm a nerd in a lab coat who is an idiot with women. Yes, we do actually exist outside of shows and movies. Now, for those of you saying that this is fake, unfortunately, it's not. Though I will say I take it as a compliment to be accused of being a ChatGPT. To the other, I'm an engineer, not an English major. I'm not a professional writer, obviously, and I was told by a coworker to come here for advice. This is not Mary, as I've read through the comments, personal messages, and a damn. I'm being honest, I really didn't think it was that bad, but I guess if you're having the outpouring of anger that I've gotten, I've realized I really need to take a moment and think about everything Saturday as the comments about what a POS I am flooded in. So I sat down with my wife yesterday after I finally got her to settle down. The conversation was turbulent, to say the least, and I've come to realize I love my wife, but I'm not in love with my wife. I'm pretty sure I actually resent her in some odd ways. I don't even understand why, which that was a heartbreaking thing to realize on both of our parts, which I think just destroyed my wife further. I know she loves me, or she wouldn't have put up with half of what she has. I think that's what sucks the most out of all of this, just watching as you keep hurting someone, even when you just want to be better by them. I know I love her, but I can't bring myself to truly say that I love her. Maybe it's just the comfortability after so long or something. I don't know, and I won't claim to know at this point. She has given me a home, not just a house, a beautiful little girl, and more love than I've ever known. I'm an a-hole, I know. Trust me, I know, and I know it is something wrong with me mentally. not her. So, I let her read through everything I had posted with me after our talk, and I think the one comment that hurt the most from all of you, though, and the one that stood out the most to her, was the one that said, how you are showing your daughter she should be treated. Eye-opening, to say the least. I wouldn't want her to be married to a man who ignored her and made her feel like she didn't deserve the world. I could see the hurt in Mary's eyes as she realized our daughter could end up in a loveless marriage because of our actions, and think that it's okay. A lot of tears shed yesterday evening on that one, and both parts. So, individuals, couples, and families therapies is being scheduled before a divorce is set in motion the next coming weeks. It's been quiet since then, and I can't bring myself to look in the mirror. I'm disgusted with myself. I promised I wouldn't allow my child to grow up in a broken home, or feel less than loved, because that's all I ever knew. I watched my own mother end up in a loveless marriage, cheated on, divorced, and left with 4 kids to raise basically on her own. Now, it's just feels like I'm continuing my dad's legacy of family neglect and abandonment, just in a different way. I guess in some weird way, thank you, Reddit. Even with the hateful comments and messages, it was eye-opening to see different points of views. I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt, and I am going to do my best to try and at least make life easier for Mary and my daughter. Working on fixing myself and my mental health, getting Mary the help she needs, and any help our daughter may need from all of this. Even if it means we end up divorced, I don't want them to ever struggle financially or emotionally because of me. And I don't want my daughter to ever think for 1 second I don't love her. But that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up some wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Maybe check out the end card too. There's a playlist of more videos like this in case you want to see another one. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!